This is Dan Smith, Vice Chair of the Board of Finance. We're going to be in about 8 to 10 minute delay. We're just waiting for a couple of people to get a quorum. Thank you.
All right, sorry for the delay. We have opening the meeting for December 4th for the North Stonington Board of Finance. With us is myself, Michael Anderson, Chairman, Dan Smith, Vice Chair, Sarah Nelson, Gary Anino, Lou Gingerella. Anyone online? No. And Suzanne Thoreau, our Finance and Administrative Director. I never get that title right.
Yes.
Any public comment? No one's in the audience, so we will move on to agenda item number 3, review the 2005 Board of Finance meeting schedule with the calendar. I did send you the calendar. I'm sorry, I did not print this out for everybody. I know we did this scheduled meetings already. Does anyone have that on them from when we did it previously? We filled it out before, but then we want to potentially add some dates for Mondays in March. I have to submit this to
Oh,
Antoinette.
Yeah.
By the end of the month, so
It's just our regular meeting schedule.
regular meeting schedule, right?
well, they're say every Monday. That's a little.
I agree with you. But we didn't do that on our last one, so, and I wish I'd brought it with me, but it's at my house.
Give me a sec, cause I'm sorry, Liv, go ahead.
So
Which,
So I,
January, March,
Oh, in March.
every Monday in March, just because it's our budget season. Schedule a board of finance meeting. Cancel them.
Right. And also, it also gives us the flexibility to be able to add stuff to, because once we have a special meeting, we're locked into it. If there's anything last minute, we won't be able to add it.
Okay, I just thought we meant January.
no, not January. So
I know we have the 8th and the 22nd in January.
yeah, so last year we did not have any extra meetings in January or February. And it was really March and I think the first week of April.
So someone who has a calendar, just follow along, make sure that I'm putting in this correctly. We have, so the 22nd, that would put us February 5th and 19th. Right?
It's the 19th.
I'm gonna go 3,
Yep.
5, no, I'm sorry,
3,
3, 5,
10, 12,
10, 12,
17, 19,
17, 19,
24, 26.
24, 26.
And then the last Monday is the 31st. Do we want to go 31st and the 2nd of April?
Sure.
If you want, I can read you like, just a gut check. So typically
Since we're talking.
No.
There we go. Okay, I got it. So the way it worked last year was the last Tuesday in February, the Board of Selectmen had their budget review. And then they presented it to us on the first Wednesday of March. So we didn't do the first Monday of March, we did just the first Wednesday. Then we had that Monday to review the budget and, discuss it. Then the Board of Ed presented that Wednesday. Then we reviewed the budget that Monday and discussed it. Then we looked at the finalized budget and I think that's when we voted on it.
So to your point, the first Monday in March, which is the 3rd, according to the budget timeline. Oh, man. The Board of Selectmen are going to review the budget on March 4th. Then present to us on March 5th. So we probably do not need the 3rd.
Yeah, I don't think we need it because they're either gonna do it the last week in February, in which case we'll meet on Wednesday, or they'll do it that Tuesday and we'll. meet.
Right, we can't do anything until they
Yeah.
present.
Yeah.
So we'll scratch the 3rd.
I think the 3rd is conservative. We can always scratch it at a later date.
It's on my paper already.
Why wouldn't we just schedule it?
It's fine.
Okay.
I wasn't saying we should or shouldn't. I was just giving context to like what we did.
Got it. All right, so I got the 3rd, 5th, 10th, 12th, 17th, 19th, 24, 26.
I just don't want the Board of Finance to be the rate limiter on this.
Okay,
I'm gonna be out of town that week, first week of February.
All decisions will be lose action.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
We can do the 31st and the 2nd and then go back to our normal 9th and 23rd.
Yeah,
so nothing on the 2nd of April?
Yeah, 30, it would be the 31st of March and the 2nd of April.
Okay,
Yeah, on
Okay,
April tenth last year, we voted to go to public hearing and then advertise the public hearing, like everything after.
so 9th and 23rd.
9th and the 23rd will get us back into the bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And-
Excellent.
And then May 7th
7th,
and the 21st.
got it. June 4th.
June 4th
and the 18th.
Wait, you said May 7th and 21st?
Yeah,
May
that's,
7th and 21st, June 4th and the 18th.
so. The first, the referendum always falls on,
It's how many days after, but it has to be before March 5th, I know, May 15th.
They have it on May 5th, May 5th right now.
we had the,
I'm sorry, May 19th.
we had the annual town budget meeting on May sixth last year, and we had the referendum, which is the vote, right?
Yeah.
Town vote on the 20th.
And this year on this schedule is the 5th for the town meeting and the 19th for the referendum.
Okay,
So we can then set the mill rate on the 21st.
Correct.
yep, we can set the mill rate. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. It's almost like you knew what you were doing.
So July, the first meeting would have been
July
the
2nd.
2nd. We're going to skip that and go
16th.
16th.
Yep.
And I think we're going to have one meeting in July.
All right. And
Sure.
then if we hold the bi-weekly, it would have been the 30th.
Yeah, so 13th,
So the 13th.
and that will also be a single
Yeah,
meeting
and then
month.
it would have been the 27th, and then we'll go September
10 and
10.
24.
and 24. And 24, October 8th and the 22nd,
Yep.
November 5th and the 19th. December 3rd and the 17th. And then I don't think you're gonna have one on New Year's Eve.
No.
Unless it's party at Gary's.
At the media center, right?
Mhm.
No, I don't have a secretary here.
With all of them, we didn't add any additional dates for February.
No, we don't normally.
I'm taking minutes, so I can
Okay.
sign secretary.
Or June 8th.
Thank you, Dan.
Mhm.
All right, I'll get that to Antoinette.
So do we have to, I can't remember if we have to vote on that or not.
I move to approve the 2025 schedule of meetings as written.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
5-0-0.
Okay,
Nice recovery, Mike.
thanks. A review of Board of Finance undesignated fund balance. Does anyone not have a copy? All right, so as of now, we have 3,585,985.14. If we were at a minimum of 8.5%, it'd be 1,979,703.30. At 17%, it's 3,953,406.70, and right now we're at 15.42%. And the notes are important because we figured that we were going to likely be over the 17% at some point this year. And if we do in fact do these projects and receive the grant money, we would be at 17.14%. So, I just don't know. I don't know how close to these projects being even, I mean, I know the Trails grant, they haven't even started that project. I don't anticipate it to be started until the spring. And, you know, hopefully they'll get the 58,000 back.
Wasn't there a roof somewhere in this?
That's part of
It's under
the,
the steep.
it's under
It's under
the
the
steep
steep-
grant.
It's under the steep grant.
Is there any movement on that one? Because I think that's another one where it has to be completed, certified. All the paperwork has to be sent off and then we sit there and wait.
I know the
Can you pull your
irrigation
microphone,
project is moving
Suzanne?
forward.
Can you pull your microphone towards you a little bit?
No, she doesn't
Yeah.
have enough for you.
I know the irrigation project is starting as far as the bidding process. We're getting the packets together. That'll be going out soon, but I'm not sure about the roof or the HVAC for the steep. At this point, it was on hold. I
Do
can find
you,
out for
do you anticipate these projects being done before the fiscal year is over?
I can't answer that. I'm not sure. I mean, the irrigation, I'm not sure when they'll be able to even start that because of the work on the grounds due to the weather.
Well, more importantly, it wouldn't go into the undesignated till we get the money from the state.
Correct.
Yeah, we were.
And that's always, sorry, I don't want to say always, traditionally, that drags on a tad. So do we really think that's going to hit this year?
Well. I don't know if, does the whole steep grant get paid back at one time when all projects are done, or does certain projects have different grants that are returned from the state once they're completed?
I think we voted on them as a package deal. We get them back. As a
I think
package.
this one goes all at once and a reimbursement and one reimbursement back.
Yeah, because I think we,
And then it gets into the finance question. If the project's done and we've submitted for reimbursement, do we have to accrue the payment to hit 2025? Or does it actually hit when it hits?
That's what we're looking at now. If it depends on when it hits it, it's usually such a delay getting the money back. It's
Yeah.
usually in the next fiscal year often.
Right,
So it's an accounts receivable.
Right.
okay.
So it's, yeah, so it's. That's what it is. Accounts receivable.
Yeah, and so it's not like we have to count on it this year because we submitted for it this year. We can count on it when it comes.
Comes in.
yeah,
Correct.
Thank you. Okay.
yeah, because it coming out of the undesignated fund, we don't have to account for that. It's already out.
But I guess I would look at this as being okay to count that towards our undesignated fund. The percentage. We don't doubt that we're going to get the money. It just might be in 6 or 9 or 12 months.
Okay.
Is that, no, that was a question.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the state's not gonna come back and say, oh, no, we're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that money.
That's correct. That's correct. It's just a question of the timing is an issue with regard to this present budget.
Okay.
Because we budgeted, we were in the red.
Yep.
When we had the error in tax collection, if you recall.
Yeah, and then the school budget had that.
That helped. That didn't, I'm saying,
Wasn't there were two things that happened. One helped and then the other one,
correct.
and then the other one was a surprise.
But some of the accounting in the end, including the tax lowering the mill rate, was based upon this money coming back.
Right.
In this fiscal year. So that's my only concerns. You know, there might be at a time, you know, if we use up all the budget, that
Right.
we would have to hit the undesignated fund again, waiting for that money to come back. So I just want us all to be prepared for that.
But none of those will, to use a bad phrase, none of those will break the bank.
They're not gonna break the
even
bank.
they're not even gonna move the needle.
Right, and I don't think, we're going to, we're not, to your point, Lou, we're not gonna start, going on our policy of
Not even-
reducing, that we're not doing that at this point because that money's not here. If it was, we actually really, used it for the decrease in the mill rate. We've already worked our policy like we wanted to.
Yeah, I agree. I think when we see the revenue for next year, I forget what the gap was. Was it like, it was a couple $100,000, right?
It was.
So the goal is to close the gap with the revenue. We're not going to put the money back that we used. We'll close the gap with the future revenue and mill rate adjustment for this coming,
Right. But
so that we're back
With the
with
re-
balanced budget.
with the revenue tax revenue that we're expecting, this percentage is going to go down anyway, because that number is going to be going up.
Say that again?
Well, we're talking about 17.4% of our budget, right? That's what.
17.14.
Right. But our budget next year is going to be bigger. So this number is going down, given that.
It shouldn't. We should, yeah. So whatever, we're just gonna make up round numbers for fun. 'Cause it's
Yeah, I
easier.
know. Yeah.
So if our budget is $1 million, last year we only actually budgeted 800,000. So we had to take $200,000 out of the undesignated fund to make our
Right.
budget whole.
Yeah.
This year, we're not going to put that $200,000 back, but with the increased revenue, we would expect that we get to $1 million budget. So the budget's balanced going forward. So it shouldn't impact the undesignated fund.
Mhm.
We shouldn't be
Okay.
taking more out.
No, all I'm saying is the undesignated fund will be a smaller percentage.
Oh, yes,
I mean, that's just going to happen, right?
yes.
So
Mhm.
if we're sitting here comfortable at 17, then it won't be 17,
you have to
all other things being equal, because the other ones.
Yeah.
Because you have to split the difference between the actual number 17% versus what the actual balance is.
And the new total expenditure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
Because you base it
Now
on
our-
percentage.
Yeah, now our budget is 1.2 million, so that 17% of that is higher.
Something different.
So the percent we actually have saved is less.
So really, when we're looking at this, outside of the parameters of our policy of the percentage, we should be looking at the dollar amount
Yeah,
as a whole inside the account itself. Are we comfortable with having, 3.5 million inside that account?
Hmm.
Right?
Right, because that's what Bob mentioned. We should have X number of weeks worth of funds available,
I think it's 2 months.
2 months.
2 months, yeah. Max of 2 months, minimum of 1 month.
Yeah.
Something like that.
that seems low.
It does seem low, especially for,
When you think about
I think it's
it,
at least 2 months. So I think that's the minimum.
Because we've run into scenarios in the past where like the mill rate was late. And so like then you can't print the tax bill or whatever. So the income coming in is delayed to the town.
and if I remember right, when we were writing that policy, the reason why we went with 1 and 2 month was if the state or some other entity stepped in, it would take them that long to be able to come in there and basically say, all right, you need this much money. Here's your chunk of money.
Mhm.
And it's basically to hold us over to be able to keep the lights on and pay the bills and everything.
Do we actually know what our burn rate is? Like, it's just our budget divided by 12.
$2 million a month roughly.
Yeah.
So,
You got a month and a half.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just did rough math. I rounded to 24 million.
Yeah.
Can you get us that information? What does it cost us to run the town for a month?
At the highest,
Government, just on the government side.
at the highest rate. Well, no, it should be the whole.
It should be a cash. Because it might be different between cash versus the accrual versus
Right.
some of the payments I'm sure aren't going to be every month. They're
Yeah, that's why I said,
Staggered.
that's why I said the
Like,
highest amount, which say, August and February, the largest ones. We'll go with the worst case on those.
That sounds good.
Okay, I can get that for you.
The point I want to make about this is, budgeting, this 58,000 for the trails grant was not part of that came up more recently. The 340 that was going to be returned to the undesignated fund went into our plugging the budget hole. Okay, so we already said, let's not call it 17.14%, whatever the 340 equals, say it's 17.08 or 17.1, 11, somewhere around there. We're already reducing that overage to plug the hole. So we should still be around 70. If that money came in and we had to use it all, right, for the expenditures for fiscal year 24-25, we would be at 17% in the undesignated fund at the end of the year. And I just want you to be aware, if the money's not there and we still have all those expenditures, we might have a situation where we're using undesignated fund to pay our bills until we get paid back. Okay, but we still have a balanced budget.
I did get some information from Bob regarding the roof. We received one bid and it was too high and they haven't put it out to rebid yet. And then there are no bids on the HVAC for central office, and that'll go back out to bid in the spring. Yeah.
Well,
if we're here,
That's
are we
concerning.
talking about the percentages now? Because our policy is it can be between 8.5 and 17.
We have time. If it hits that, the policy is, Dan,
Hold on.
No, I'm just asking is
we have to put procedures
8.5
in place.
a number we're
Yeah.
going to be comfortable with going forward? Would we ever be comfortable?
That was the discussion that was supposed to happen. We were
Okay.
talking about that. And
Right.
that was to Dan's point.
And this is. So it said if in the event of undesignated fund balance overage, if the undesignated fund balance exceeds a maximum level of annual operating expenditures as stated in the policy after one fiscal year, the Board of Finance shall refund the taxpayer of the town of Stonington in the form of until overage is expelled, reduction of mill rate or reduction of town debt.
Yep.
Debt.
Well, we voted to do the mill rate decrease with the expected overage.
No, just lower the debt. But when you look at the way our debt's structured, that might not be a very good idea.
Well, it depends on what.
Because we got
So-
leases.
Yeah,
and we
so,
have
so,
long-term
yeah,
debt.
so that would be something we get to that bridge, I would want to see
Yeah.
the financing terms to see, so we could make an educated decision.
It could be also debt that,
Not-
no.
We have some very attractive financing.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that we have to go out the oldest debt. It could be something that we're gonna be buying in a couple of months.
Okay.
Which would be a worse
Yeah.
Yeah.
interest rate.
Debt avoidance.
Yeah, debt avoidance. I like that.
Just because we have,
Word of the day.
just because we have favorable financing doesn't mean we shouldn't reduce debt. I know philosophically to a finance guy, that makes your head explode.
Yeah.
But-
I can't understand the rationale.
Cash is king. And if ultimately the town is paying less cash, we should reduce the debt.
See, the problem with that is that what you just said, the Fed's not paying down debt. Cash is king. You're not obligated to pay down that debt ahead of time. You're better off having that money in the bank earning twice as much interest.
Not if I'm paying interest for an extra term.
Which,
So if I can pay off early and reduce the interest, why wouldn't I do that? If the terms allow that.
But Gary, if we're being charged 2.5% on our debt, and we can put the money in the bank and make 4.5%, why would you pay down that debt?
Because we never put it in the bank and make money on it. We
Yes,
spend it.
Yes, we do. We have a report about that tonight.
This is new to us. I'm going to continue to push you to an uncomfortable spot, Lou.
No, no. I just can't.
So I'm in the market for,
Ahead of ourselves.
I want to have this argument with my wife,
Yeah.
Lou, so help me out here.
Okay. Oh,
I'm in the market for a Kubota tractor, so I should buy new at 0% financing for 5 years and put all that money into my 5% savings bank, even though it's going to cost more for the big nut.
first of all,
Finance it. Don't buy it.
it's perfectly okay to buy a tractor anytime, under any circumstances. That's always good.
Gary lives by the 1972 International.
All right, on to 5. Review tax collector's report. So Zane has done a fantastic job. I didn't ask her to be here, probably should have, but she sent it, this is only through the end of October. And it looks like as far as the big number, we're close to where we need to be with 48.91% collected.
Yeah, about halfway through the year. That's
Yeah.
all right.
This other stuff, I'm going to ask her for another report in January for the end of the year, end of the calendar year. And I'll have her, come in and kind of break this down to us. Prior year in suspense is, I believe that's money that they couldn't collect.
It looks like she got 97% of it.
Yeah.
Reading this right, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
and that's what why she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went into town hall. I forget why. I had to go see her. Maybe I was paying my taxes. And she was like, "Are you on the Board of Finance?" I had never met her before. I was like, "That's amazing." Because she watches these meetings. I was like, "Bless you for putting up with our meetings."
So I think we're in good shape.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Zane, and we look forward to seeing you in January.
Thank you,
if you're-
Zane.
If you're listening. Agenda item number 6, review short-term investment interest through 10/24. It's the report that Sean provided for us, who's our treasurer. And to part of, kind of tie into those last little bits of discussion of whether or not our money is being put into places where it's going to earn money. We are doing that now, whereas we never did it before.
I do have a couple of questions on this, though.
I did send this, I did send an email to Sean. That we were going to be, on the agenda to Sean, that we were going to be reviewing this, but maybe he's got one too many meetings.
As
If you have a question, I can pose it to him.
Well, maybe just some general conversation about it, and that is, as I'm reading this report, this is a running event of our CD that's continually renewed at Chelsea Groton.
Correct.
And so we're sitting there now with a 13-week CD that ran from 10/10 to 1/9. Right? That's the last, well, 2/3 of the way down the page.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we have a $1.5 million CD at Chelsea Groton. If I'm reading this correctly.
I believe so, yes.
Or is this the same amount of money where it's,
Every one of these it's a 500, then he put them together.
yeah, he grouped.
They're supposed to mature,
Matured.
they're supposed to mature on a rolling basis, so we have cash.
Yep.
Right. So now what we have is, here's where I'm getting to on this. Chelsea Groton is a great bank, no question. But at 1.5 million, it's well above any FDIC insurance. Not that there's been much where they haven't been covered should a bank fail. But at this dollar amount, we essentially are unsecured creditor at Chelsea Groton.
So you're thinking that we should be splitting this up a little smaller?
Or consider buying T-bills, government T-bills instead. I mean,
I'd like to hear Sean's thoughts on this, whether we should shop it to a bigger house or change to a different mechanism.
a bigger house doesn't help, because a bigger house, you'd have the same insurance.
That's,
And the probability of this happening is very remote, but I mean,
let's not go down the path without Sean here to discuss it. I agree with what you're saying. I'm
Okay.
comfortable with it. I just,
I agree with you, and we'll table this to the next meeting. For some reason, I just recall, because Sean already had spoken about this
Last meeting.
last meeting, and I thought for sure he said it was all covered.
by FDIC,
That'd be unusual.
I do have an email from Sean. Remember, he had sent it out to the Board of Finance.
Yes,
And he says that the town funds in these CDs are split out to multiple banks. The balance of no more than 250,000 in each bank and 100% FDIC insured.
that's what I thought I said, heard.
Yeah.
so this should then read certificates, plural of deposit, right? And
Mm.
Yes.
So he's getting multiple certificates at 13 weeks at the same ARP, APR, APY.
Yeah, if you want.
At the same, at all different banks. I,
250. How many banks are there?
well,
There's a lot of banks.
and also have them having the same interest rate across,
No, this is,
it's gonna be an
just
average.
need to be clarified, I guess.
Yeah, I probably, when I sent this to you guys, I just sent the report because that if I send you the email, you guys don't get the reports. So
Let's just get a report back from him
Yeah.
next meeting. It's
Yep.
just, it needs,
Just,
we could bottom it out and put it to bed.
that's right. Move to the next agenda item, right?
I'm gonna try to forward this to you guys too, and so we'll table this.
if, can we ask for a little bit of more information also?
If we get him here,
Yeah,
then he can,
It, for it to be beneficial, get your thoughts to him so he can come prepared to answer the questions. Perfect.
he's very approachable if you give him a little, just a heads up.
yeah. Okay,
Did anyone text the dates that Carl's asking about? I will right now.
I'm having fun.
Okay. Amy sent out the minutes today. Does everyone get them? I looked at them. They looked good. I move to accept the minutes for our November 20th, 2024 meeting as written.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I think this is the one I wasn't there.
4-0.
You just have to note that it was Sarah that was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like halfway.
You know, these meetings are lasting way too short.
Budget season's.
Well, I like the 11 o'clock meeting.
Any public comment? None.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, what time is it?
7:43.